Today I'm speaking with Viso, Ricardo Viso, a joint architect and founder of Joyful Living Lounge, who's on a mission to help people rediscover enjoyment in their work and life. After surviving cancer twice while building his business, Viso developed the RIC Method: recognize, identify, and consciously create habits of joy. What makes his story compelling isn't just his personal transformation, but his unique perspective that joy isn't irresponsible or immature. It's essential. He's now taken this message into corporate environments, challenged the belief that work has to be a sacrifice. We'll explore how his retail and e-commerce background led to this calling, why he believes most people don't enjoy what they do, and how companies can create cultures where employees actually want to be there. So welcome, Viso.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Love recording here with you.
Excellent, man. I appreciate you being here. So you've had quite a journey from retail to e-commerce to surviving cancer twice.
And now it's
How
three times. Now
now it's
it's the
three
third
times.
time. Yeah.
So tell us, like, how did these experiences lead to you becoming a joy architect?
I've always been, my life has had, cancer is like the cherry on top of difficult situations that I've been through since I was very young. My mom died. She committed suicide when I was 10. So that's when I started, let's call it my tragic situations that happen in life. And I've always been a very positive person and try to enjoy what I do because at that time when my mom's death happened, in my mind, even though I was 10 years older, nothing worse could happen to me in my life. And when I start growing older, it seemed that way. I mean, how can people be sad or stressed about school or this or that when I've already gone through my mom's death, which is what else can be worse than that? So I've always kept that mindset. And then when cancer hit the first time, which was like a very major tumor, advanced tumor, and everything medically speaking seemed very bad. And I spent like 8 months getting healthier and recuperating and doing all the stuff that needed to be done. That was the moment when I really realized, because I was on the outside, let's call it that way, and I realized that people go through life without enjoying what they do. Really, they earn a lot of money, they're successful by what sometimes we define as success, which is we can do a whole podcast about it. But in the end, they go through life and they don't enjoy what they're doing. So I said, at that moment, I was helping patients with cancer and moms with kids with cancer. And I realized that the message and this trying to enjoy while we were going through this didn't apply only to cancer patients, actually. It applied to everybody. Because again, I was able to look from the outside that people, again, don't enjoy what they do.
Mm. Yeah, I think you kind of touched on maybe like what happened with people not enjoying what they're doing, and then like what were you observing that just really made it so clear to you?
That you hear people and you listen people and I talk to people and again they are like stressed all day long and their work is creating stress on my partner and my kids and everything is a stress. Everything becomes and they live like when I obtain these or I will get a promotion, when I do this, when my kids grow up, when the weekend arrives and it doesn't make sense. You see it. And if you live for certain moments and you don't enjoy why
Enjoy that
you
piece of it.
get to that moment,
Yeah.
it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
It's kind of like I heard that, I don't know, I can't quote them, but I heard something to the effect where instead of saying like, I have to do this or have to do that, and then you stress out about those things. And if you just change a little bit of saying like, well, I get to do that. It's almost
And
like
and it
as it's
changes
as
your
like,
mindset. It
yeah,
does.
yeah, it's like it's a privilege, like this piece of life that's being presented to you. You get to do it. You get to experience it. So make the most of it. So Walk us through the RIC method. Recognize, identify, and consciously create habits of joy. Tell us, like,
While I
how
was
does this?
doing
Mhm.
all of these, again, like it was very much natural for me again to be positive, and I didn't have the science behind it because I had the stories, I had what I did, and but while I started to create the Joyful Living Lounge, which is this movement to create better days for everybody, I realized, and it happened by accident actually, that the three steps in my mind based on what I read, what I researched, and in order for you to enjoy more was first to recognize that you're not enjoying. Because people first, I mean, if you don't believe that and you just in your mind is I need to sacrifice. That's what I need to do. It doesn't matter. It's part of life. That's who I am. That's never going to change anything. If you believe that and you're going to want to go through life like that, that's fine. There's no way you can get any help, let's call it that way. So first you need to recognize, then identify what gives you joy. And there's a long process of that to create purpose, to have different things in place, because it's not a matter of just enjoying for the sake of enjoying. There are parts of it to that, but the most enjoyable things in the end become when they are aligned to a purpose, they are aligned to something bigger than just enjoying that moment. But you need to identify, that's the I, identify what brings you joy. And then you consciously need to live those joyful moments. You need to create, I mean, during the workshops and speed, you create this joy file, you create these moments where you perfectly identify what you enjoy out of life and how do you enjoy it and how can you, if you have a very stressful job, which there are out there many of them, how can you create some of the tasks you do daily, how can you enjoy them a little bit more? So that's the RIC method. It's recognize, identify, and consciously create that habit of enjoying more what you're doing.
So is it kind of like these? If you've got 10 things you need to do in a day, and maybe some of those you don't enjoy so much, but trying to find the joy in that process, or
There's many different things, but one is try to find moments where you can enjoy yourself. If you enjoy listening to music, listen to music for 3 minutes. Listen to a good song. If you like a podcast, listen to a podcast 10 minutes. If you like reading, if you like chocolate, if you like whatever you like, give those daily vitamins in your life that create that amount
Mm.
of joy. And regarding the tasks, there's always, when you map out all the daily tasks you do in your job and your personal life, there there's a way that we put them in a map where you have tasks that are really hard to do and you don't enjoy. Those are the worst. And if most of those tasks are in that part of the graph, you're not enjoying that much. So how can you move some of those tasks to make them lighter or make them less difficult? What
Yeah,
about outsourcing? What about doing it with somebody else? There's different ways and depending on the task, but there's
sure.
always a way to move the needle on those tasks a little bit towards either enjoying them more or making them less difficult or less stressful. Let's call it that way.
I wonder too if, like, even identifying those and whether you do them like first thing in the day, where it might be painful, but it's like if you get through those, then you can reward yourself because you've got the other 5 things that you do enjoy. So just
No,
just
and
get that
even
stuff out of the way.
you can see it. I don't know. Let's call it a neurosurgeon. I mean, it's stressful as, I mean, there's nothing else in my mind that I can believe it more stressful, no? Having the life of a person in your hands and operating in a brain. And there are some brain surgeons that are so relaxed and they listen to music and they tell jokes while doing it. They are enjoying it more. And in the end, it's the exact same job, the exact same people, the exact same task. And one of them is enjoying it more than the other. And in the end, this guy that's enjoying it more is going to last longer doing it. And the other ones end up burning out. And that can
So
apply to a janitor, to whatever you see. There's a janitor, you find some that are laughing and enjoying and singing, and the other one is having a miserable time.
yeah, yeah. I think it really does come back to that whole mindset shift. So you had said before, people think if you're enjoying yourself, then you're being irresponsible or immature. So how do you help people overcome this belief?
I think it's a limiting belief that we've created for ourselves for a long time, that becoming an adult means having less fun, being more responsible, more formal, more sober. And that's terrible. You come to life to enjoy your life. And it's a matter, I mean, in terms of a company, it's a culture thing. If the people that create the culture believe that, it's impossible to change it. You can change it for yourself, that's for sure.
Mhm.
That I mean, you can live the way you want to live no matter what's happening. Like I can tell you with cancer patients, I've been with a lot of cancer patients in the clinic, in the hospital, and some of them are having a terrible time, and some of us are not having a terrible time. And it's a matter of choice. It is. So if that radical example can help in your workplaces as well, it can be a terrible, but you can enjoy it a little bit better. But to change the whole culture, it's a matter of leadership. If the
Leadership.
people creating that culture believe that having fun is part of it's something you shouldn't because you're not acting responsible, that's very complicated to change.
So how do you take something as personal as joy and apply it to the workplace culture sort of transformation? Are you then kind of are you starting at the top and figuring like, what are the leaders
Again,
doing?
it depends on, I think that there's two ways to approach that. One,
Mm.
towards the owners, culture changers, managers at the top, that they say, you know what, this is important. We want our employees to enjoy more. And it's now not something that you think that works. You've seen all over the place now chief happiness officers and all these movement, because when your employees are enjoying more, they are more productive, you have less turnover. It's a fact that now there's actual data about that. So that's one way to approach it towards that. And the other one is, again, if your workplace doesn't believe completely in that, you yourself can create your own mindset in terms of how you're going to deal with that lack of joy culture, or however you want to call it. And in the end, I would say I wouldn't like to work at a place that don't prioritize that, but that's
Mhm.
me. But you can always say, well, I
Welcomes it, like,
can't.
right? You want, yeah.
Yeah, but you can always say, well, it's not that easy for me to change, and that's fine. And I appreciate that. So then you can, staying at that type of workplace, you can create your own better workplace for
How you
yourself. You
show up,
can.
right? Kind of like how you show up at
Yeah,
work with your
for
joy.
sure.
And then hopefully even too is it's kind of like spreading that, right? So you're
Yeah.
coming in with that joy and hoping that's just helping others get through it and helping them
No, and
find
even
joy.
your commitment to that, again, when you're consciously doing it, you start to spread that around you. That's a fact. I mean, when you go to get a coffee at a coffee shop and the barista is in a nice mood, you see it's different than when she or he, what do you want? It changes the way you begin the day or you create a moment. So when you are in that headspace,
Yeah.
the people around you tend to go with it as well.
Yeah, yeah. Or the opposite, right? If they're in a
Yes.
happy mood and all of a sudden spreads like wildfire. You're like, there we go, start the first of the day. So you offer 4 hour, 8 hour, even 2 day workshops. What happens in these sessions that creates lasting change?
I think, again, it's something that to create that lasting change, it needs to be perfectly defined with the company based on the workshops. What is it that the company is looking for? What what needs to be changed. And the workshops, the difference in the time, the hours, it's based on the amount of exercises you do to create, because the structure is basically the same, but the amount of exercises of interaction changes depending on the amount of hours you spend with the people. And it doesn't mean that 8 hours is going to be much better for sure than 4 or 2. It doesn't mean that you can have an amazing workshop in 2 hours and create lasting change in some of the people for sure. But it's all about the different exercises that help you realize and see these might help. Oh, these other might help. Oh, I didn't know. Like there's an exercise I can tell you where if I ask you to write down the 10 things you hate the most about your job, you do them in 5 minutes, in 5 seconds. Actually, you need more space. Oh, I need more. If I ask you to write a list of the things you enjoy about your day at your job, people spend 10 minutes and they have 3 written words in their paper. We're so focused on that negative part and that it's very difficult for most of the people to find, yeah, it's amazing. You cannot believe the amount of people that take, again, it's 10 minutes and there's 3 words in that list.
Yeah, it's so interesting you saying that because, you're just thinking about even to like jobs younger, it's like in your 20s or whatever, and you're taught like, you got to do everything right, and if this is off and this is wrong, then everything that it's just so bad, and that kind of just ruins your day. Yet
And it
you're
does.
young and you're learning in it, and you're learning the culture, and of course you want to do a good job, and you want everybody to be happy, and and so, but that can really just turn into like this negative spin, and then how you show up and how you feel.
I
So
can give you a great example for that. And I did this, I've done it many times. I talk to people, friends, or
mm,
people that I know, and I take one side or the other. And let me tell you, I tell them, you know what? I don't like that people live in fear their lives because they wake
mm,
up and they listen to the news and they get WhatsApp and messages that are terrible. And my mindset is that you create your own world. You create how you want to see the world.
mm,
And I, there's a friend of ours that they say, you know what? Yeah, people live with fear, and that's exactly that's normal. We live in fear, and it's terrible, and the world is a bad place, and we need to go after that. And they are stressed most of the time. And they say, yeah, that I don't know how you can do it, but you're like nuts. You live in a world that's not real, because
mm.
real world is tough, is fearsome. And then I went to another group of friends that I know they enjoy life much more. And I told them, you know, I think people live with fear and that's the way it should be. And they say, what? People don't live in fear. There's no way people live in fear. And same background, same, but this side is living in a fearful world. They listen to news every day. They are attached to that. Their world is based
Yeah, and
out
news
of
is
that
pretty much negative. I mean,
all day long.
yeah, it's not like going, well, good news today.
And in their
It's
minds
like
is that,
it's
well,
just
but
bad.
I need to be informed. You don't. You need to be
Mm,
informed that somebody shoots somebody at a place. What are you going to do
yeah,
about that?
and when you wake up to
So,
it, and that's the first thing you
and
attach
there is,
to.
and even I can tell you, if you really look into it, there's much more better people, nice people, and good news all over the world. But it's hard to find them
Mm,
because the
yeah,
bad side has so much noise and creates so much noise that that's where people focus on. And then if you wake up, you're going to commute and you put your alarm and it sounds da, da, da. You wake up, you listen to the news. But by the first hour you're awake, you're already in a stress mindset.
yeah. Wow. So you had mentioned executives often stay in their own bubble while expecting culture, right, to change from everyone else. So how do you go about addressing this?
Again, it's something that consciously they need to want to change. And being in that bubble doesn't necessarily mean, again, that you're in a bad position. Because, again, if that bubble is intended to create a good workspace, and that's great. Again, there's industries that are basically stressful all the time. Event production, they are always stressed. But there are companies that enjoy what they do, and there are companies that they don't. And you can stay in your bubble of enjoying that stress about the production part of the industry and focus on all the good things that come out of that. Or you can stay on that, yeah, it's so stressful and it's terrible and I don't sleep. Yeah, you can keep at it.
So you strongly prefer in-person workshops over virtual
Yeah.
ones. What's the
Yeah.
difference in like the energy you can create?
It's a whole different thing. Again, I appreciate, I love the tools that we have, like what we're doing here. But I would much rather enjoy being with you in Thailand right now, having this conversation for sure. Because the energy, the human energy that you create with a person is completely different. You can see
Yeah.
really in their eyes what
Or just
they're
give it a tap on the
going
shoulder
through.
or something, you know? Yeah.
No, and you can feel the energy in the room.
Mhm.
In my mind, these webinars that you have 100 people, 80 with their cameras off, it doesn't, I mean, again, you can reach as much people and it's great. But when you're in the room, you can feel, okay, something's off or something's great. Let's move on or let's keep at this because it's creating in a webinar, in a virtual world, that doesn't work. They can tell me, and I know people say, well, I like it again. I understand the great advantages of it, but it's energy wise, there's no comparison at all.
So tell us about your bigger vision for Joyful Living Lounge, like co-working spaces, retreats, green places where people can actually, they want to work.
I want to create, I want Joyful Living Lounge to be this thing that people relate to when they want to enjoy what they do. Like you go to that's why it's called lounge, because lounge gives you that sense of relaxation. And you can go to a workspace and there's a Joyful Living Lounge near your house and you can read, you can eat, you can work, you can exercise. What is it that you enjoy? You're going to find it there. And that makes a huge difference. And I want to create retreats. We're working on one to do next year and invite people again. My idea is to spread the message of what Joyful Living Lounge is, which is basically you can enjoy your days better. That's it. A little bit better. If you do enjoy your days, it's math. If you enjoy your days more, your life is better.
Mm.
If you're looking to enjoy when something happens or when the weekend arrives, no, those people that do it, I'm sacrificing my week because I hate my job, I hate my boss, I hate my people. But on the weekends, I'm okay. That means that you enjoy yourself basically 50 days or 100 days a year. That's not life.
So
Doesn't make sense.
what drives your mission to reach as many people as possible with this message about joy?
And that I realized while I was healing and now I've been going through this journey with cancer now for more than 4 years, that I do see people not enjoying and that I do believe that I can at least again, I don't like the word help or teach because, but I can show them that there's a better way to enjoy your life. And it is my purpose because I know I can reach and I have the stories and I have all the information and all the passion to show you that you can enjoy better. And if I reach as many people as I can and some of them change that, I'm good with it. I'm perfectly fine with it.
This has been great, V. So tell people how they can find you or reach out to you, follow
They
you.
can reach out to me. I have a website, experienceviso.com. I'm in Instagram as Experience Viso. There's a Facebook group and Joyful Living Lounge, and we're creating the website. And they can reach me viso at experienceviso.com. And yeah, reach out, whatever and however I can help you or your company to enjoy a little bit more. I'm more than happy to do it.
Pleasure. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Wellness Grow Show. If today's conversation sparked something for you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the stories, strategies, and insights from the front lines of wellness innovation. If you're a founder, operator, or health leader exploring growth into institutional markets and have a story worth telling, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out directly on LinkedIn or YouTube. And if you found this valuable, share it with a peer or post it online. You never know who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay well, keep moving, and keep building what matters.